Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity to make money or try to make money in the market. Let's say that. Let me go ahead and give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth, and the stock market is just one of those avenues, right? So this video is for educational purposes only. With that being said, let's get started. So we are looking at the SPY, right? And I find it interesting that the SPY closed at 515.97 on yesterday, which was the 13th. Today is the 14th of March. And looking at the 5-minute chart, we are going sideways. We did hit a high of 518.32. Again, we closed at 515.97. So in my me being the overthinker that I am, why is the SPY moving right before we're about to get some economic data? If I'm not mistaken, PPI is to come out today, and we have the unemployment information that comes out today. So we got news that's about to come out. So why is the market running? These are things that I would ask myself. What is causing this shift? What's causing this move, right? So I need to remember this 518.32. Why? Because something stopped the SPY at this area and caused it to reverse. So that's going to be like a pre-market high for me. So I need to remember that area. I'm going to go to the 30-minute chart because that's where I normally start. Again, why is the market up? Why is the SPY up almost $2? Almost, $2, almost $3 right before economic data. So those are things that I would ask myself, right? We are consolidating again. This is the gathering spot, and most people don't realize, y'all, we have these often, during pre-market, and it gives us an idea of how this stock will run or how the stock can run based on what it's doing pre-market. And a lot of times we don't go back and look at the information. The charts are telling us a story in pre-market. We just have to pay attention to what it's showing us and remember those areas of, this is where support was and this is where resistance was. So I am marking my gathering spot, which is a consolidation area. That's going to help me if I should trade the SPY today. I hadn't decided on the SPY or Tesla, so I'm still debating. I think I'll wait until after 8:30 when that report drops and and see how, if we come back down to this 515 or the 514 that it hit on yesterday, right? I do believe at some point we're going to come back down and retest that. So again, this is my gathering spot, so I've labeled that. I do know that I have support right here, which is this ATR trailing stop, and it's around 517.79, and I would definitely watch below that area. Normally I would set an alert under here just to let me know, but this is probably going to happen, before the bell rings, so that when the bell does go off, I'll have all of these alerts all at once, right? So I'm going to go down to the smaller time frame, and it looks as if there we are. You see that area is already marked for me. So when I go to a 5-minute, that's our gathering spot right there. That's our resistance, that's our support, and this is our high for the day. So I need to watch the SPY when that information comes out. Is it going to take us back to the upside? Is it going to take us back to the downside? I don't know. I don't trade until I get a clear signal as to what it's going to do. Again, my red flag or my concern is that why is it moving right before economic data? In my opinion, what I have noticed is sometimes that when it does that, there's going to be a sell-off. But again, we don't know. We only trade what we see. Pay attention to the charts, mark your levels, and when it break out of that level or give you a different view, is what I like to say. When we see it from a different view, that's when we make our decisions. And right now, that's just a bunch of I couldn't trade that or I wouldn't trade that, and that's looking at it on the 2-minute chart. That's why I go to the higher time frames. I can see it a little bit clearer here on this 30-minute versus this 2-minute right here will drive me, to another level of crazy because my eye would dance all over the place. And again, you have to figure out what works best for you, right? So again, we're looking at the SPY pre-market, and it looks like it's finding support here at this ATR trailing stop, which is where our VWAP is, and our 5 EMA and our 20 EMA. So this is a trouble place for us, and we need to watch that. If it drops below this, it could still find support here on this 50 EMA. However, Why are we moving before economic data? That's the key question. That's the most important question, right? Are we, gonna sell off, or are we gonna go higher and make new highs? That's something to think about. That is our gathering spot. We don't trade until we see what we need to see, or a clear signal. I do like to trade breakouts, and that's breaking out of the gathering spot or the consolidation area, because the SPY has been consolidating for a while. Normally when it breaks out of that area to the up or to the down, it's normally a strong move, right? And you just trade what you see. If it's not a strong move, get out of the trade. It's easier to cut your losses quick instead of staying in a losing trade. I had to learn that the hard way. So I'm going to go to Tesla, which is my absolute favorite. I like Tesla. Tesla has been trending down. And we saw that on yesterday. These are the levels that I had marked yesterday. Tesla did hit the target again. I had 170.05. It came down to the ATR for the day of 168.98. It hit that right after the closing bell yesterday, and we start just declining. And I was in Tesla puts, and I did not stay in my puts. I was in profit. I was grateful for the profit, let me say that. But I knew that we had some economic data coming out, and I didn't know if Tesla was going to find this as support and bounce as it did last Thursday. The charts were saying one thing, and somehow it ended up going back up and making highs that I didn't understand. So when I'm in decent profit like that, you've got to learn that if you're okay with the profit, sometimes you're taking a big risk by holding it overnight, not knowing what type of news can come out that will alter, being down. You can be up hundreds, and then the next morning you can be down hundreds. So that's something to think about. That's your tolerance level, your risk level. You have to see what works best for you. So again, looking at Tesla on a 30-minute chart, we are consolidating here. This is our gathering spot, right? That means we're not going anywhere. We're moving sideways, basically. And I like to mark those. I normally use the body of the candle, and I'm using this body here and the top of this as my gathering spot. And I'm going to go ahead and mark that with the lavender because I am on the 30-minute, and it just helps me visually to see that, when I go to a smaller time frame, that was a gathering spot or a consolidation area for when it was on the 30-minute time frame. So now I'm going to go down to my 5-minute, and I still see that we're under the 5 EMA on the 30-minute chart. So I still see Tesla going, in my opinion, down. It could consolidate here, break down. If we get good news, it could break out of this consolidation to the upside. But I still have a lot of trouble places ahead. Those are previous support and or resistance areas for Tesla. So I need to know that even if we decide to go back to the upside, we still got a lot of trouble to the upside, right? So I do have a target. A previous low for Tesla has been at 164.85. So right now we're at the 166 range, and we are down. Yeah, so that's going to be a gap down. Is it going to fill that gap to the upside and then come back down? That's something we don't know. We wait and wait and let the charts tell us instead of us tell the charts. I say that often. So again, we're going to go to the 5-minute and see. There we are. There's my gathering spot on the 30-minute. Here it is on the 5-minute. Still in the same area. We know that this here ATR trailing stop and this purple line here is support for the SPY. For Tesla, I was just looking at the SPY. If we break below this area, it could come here. If we break below this area, which is that 166.54, we very well may go down to that 164 area that I had as a target. So I would watch. I wouldn't trade this area. I don't trade this gathering spot, the consolidation, the sideways. I don't like to trade those, and I needed to give me a clear signal. Again, I'm a scalper. Normally, I go in. As soon as it break out of those places, that's where I try to make my entries and get in, and then I reassess. I come back and say, okay, am I going to stay in this a little bit longer, or am I going to get out? And all of that is just based on what the charts are telling me or what I see. So right now, again, Tesla is down pre-market. It is moving sideways. We've already labeled our gathering spot. We see that we have a lot of trouble ahead for Tesla, and I see it moving, making this strong move to the upside? I do not. However, I could be wrong. You know, Tesla does what Tesla does. One of the things that we have to remember is to not jump into our trades, to let our trades tell us, right? And so I'm going to look at, this is the 4-hour chart. And it's interesting to see that, you know, we declined yesterday, and on the 4-hour, we're doing exactly what the, you know, on the 1 hour, I'm sorry, we're looking at the 1 hour. On the 30-minute chart, it's doing the exact same thing as the 1 hour. 1 hour is doing what the 30-minute is doing. Let me rephrase that, right? So we know that we have trouble here at this 5 EMA, the 167.27. So if Tesla breaks that, it's just a lot of trouble places for Tesla. That's one of the things I always ask myself, okay, where am I going to have trouble? It looks like Tesla has a lot of trouble ahead trying to get back to the upside, right? So that's something to think about. That's looking at the 1 hour chart. And the 4 hour, it looks a little congested, I know, but again, those are the lines that we have marked, right? And again, we're under the 5 EMA on the 4-hour chart. So, and it looks like we are declining here. So I see Tesla coming down to this 164.85. Keep in mind, I do have downside gaps that Tesla would need to come back and fill at some point. I don't know when. I'm not saying that's going to happen today. I just know that Tesla has gaps to the downside. So this is my pre-market prep for today. I've marked my gathering spots. Today is the 14th of March. Today we get economic data, and it seemed like a double economic data, but we have to just be careful and trade what you see. And sometimes good news is not good news. Always remember that. Just because, you know, it could run up and get rejected and have a massive sell-off. That's something to think about, y'all. So I hope this video is very, very helpful. Again, we learn and we grow together. Don't rush into your trades. Let your charts show you, teach you, show you what, you know, what you're going to do versus you trying to tell it, do this, do this. Oh yeah. So yeah, I am super, super excited as always, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Until next time, have an awesome day today.